Hi there, it's Mare. I am bringing to you a flip through of my slim journal. She's a biggie, like most of my journals, very chunky. Has lots of little dangles. Anyway, the size is approximately 12 by 5 1/4. It has roughly 64, 65 pages. That's front to back. So she's got a lot of good pages, a lot of areas to journal, put notes. Just like all my other journals, it's highly decorated, but there's a few blank pages in there, but lots of areas to put little notes and add to it. So isn't she beautiful? I just love her. Any digitals that I've used, I'm going to try my best to look them up and put them in the description box below. It may take me a little while. The video might come up before I actually have everybody listed in there. So be patient with me. But if you can see, let me show you just a few things from the front and then we'll get right in. It's highly collaged. I have lots of layers, lots of texture on there. I've done some sewing, just little bits of stuff. Here's the side. This is just a stiffened muslin fabric. I have double stitched 2 of the signatures, single stitched 1. I've got lots of beading on the ends there, on the spine. I just think that looks pretty. Here's the back, lots of texture, lots of collage. I've used rag paper and some very old papers, not just with collaging, but I've included new and some newly done ephemera, I guess you could say. But a lot of the ephemera on here is super old. Some may be brittle. Here's the bottom, some stitching there. And here I've used some fabric for the bow, but some sari ribbon and stuff, but I've attached and sewn some of this here, and there's a little pocket in each. So in this one, it's just a very old little dictionary page, very tiny, but you can put a little note in there, or whoever gets it can put, I like to add little spaces for little tucks and stuff. And there is just a piece of jewelry on there, just one of the charms. And here's another little pocket with a little something in there. She has a pocket in the front, and there's just now this is one of my favorite music sheets, so I copied this on parchment. Oh, wind that heard my weeping. I just love that. But I've also included an old from the 1800s receipt. So I've just tucked that in there. It's not all the way deep pocket. That way you can still see whatever you put in there. You can still see it coming up from the top. Primary colors, blue, pink, little green here and there, and just a lot of muted colors. But look at how she's all paper there. Look at that. I mean, she's a little on the solemn side. Maybe she needs more ledgers, huh? More paper. Okay, open it up. There's a pocket here. And I put in a very old from the 1800s receipt. It is pink and it's very pretty. Little piece here. New and very old laces. There's from an old book here, and I do use some pieces from old magazines and stuff like that. Little dangle here that I've made. Little flinch card that I've altered. And this, if you take this off, you can open this up. Again, here's some vintage lace here. This is all very padded, but I love gesso, so lots of collage in the back, very old papers. This I received from Sacred Mementos that I got, and this is just a stamp on here. This is some very nice parchment paper and a wax seal. You open it up and it has a deed in there from 1884, and it's just very cool writing in that as well. So that is, I think, extra special. This paper is so nice. And that just tucks in there. And I just clipped it. You can clip it anywhere, but there's room here. You can still write on this even though it's a little bumpy. This is one of my favorite photos that I own. It's old, so I took a copy of this and made this image, and I just think she's beautiful. An old announcement card from 1898, little, lots of little laces, sari ribbon, gesso, and here's a little charm, very pretty charm. This is an old piece of jewelry, pearls and stuff. This is a digital here, and I just added this piece here and some different papers, and also an old receipt from the 1800s. The back has just those pretty flowers. And okay, I promised myself I'd get through this quicker, so let me, okay. And here is a fold-up tag, some collage there. And this I'm going to give RubyandPearlxo. Heather, she had made these, and I loved the video, and I did my own thing on it. So that's what I made there. I've got a glassine bag with an old key in it, old skeleton key, and a couple little things there as well. And I just put that in the pocket and added that. Isn't that beautiful? It's a flip up, more collaging. This is an old receipt here from 1909 that I used a piece. Some more collaging with the digital, beautiful paper. Old receipt here. This is debossed there. A piece of old ledger and a vintage or an old receipt. Let me see, 1931. Into this pocket here. I just like how that laid. And I typically reinforce my spine with laces and muslin and washi tape and all kinds of things because I heavily embellish. And this is a piece from a vintage, I believe it's a digital, but I did copy some of my original old things that I have as well. This is an antique piece of a tablecloth, I believe, or a placemat. And I've just used a rusty pin here, collaging in the back. Collaging, this is a digital, I believe. And it could be from Ruby and Pearl, but I'm going to, I'll look it up and see. But this is an original, 1868. And here's another receipt. This is from 1920, I believe. And there's some collaging. This is a pocket here. I hope everybody can see. And I just made a pocket here with a glassine envelope. This is a mailed envelope that I have altered. And this is part of a digital, I believe. And that flips open. Piece of a ledger here that you can write on. An old German book, old page here. And a blank railroad ephemera from 1800, 1870 something. And areas here for writing. A piece of a very old book and some lace. A vintage postcard. 1911, it says here. So I used a lot of different language book pages as well. And I just made these tucks here. Added a little bow. Here are some very old papers here. Added lots of gesso, again, lots of collaging. This is a piece of a digital, and I will put that in the description box. Here's a couple blank pages. Whoa! Here is an old check from the 1919. This is from a very old book. And a very old postcard from 1912 is the tuck here. And this is just a piece of sari with some ephemera. This is one of my sheets that I have copied with a very old postcard on it as well. And it's a letter to Eliza. Sorry guys, let me just make sure I don't grab 2 pages. And this is an old postcard as well. Look at how pretty that is. Very pretty. A couple of pages here, different parchments and different coffee dye. This is lace here, I believe, from TripleVintage. And there's an old letter here, and I'm gonna leave it as a surprise, but it's very old. The other part of that old postcard I used as a tuck, and old sheet music. Made this little tuck with some vintage lace and just some cheesecloth. This is an old, just a vintage French vocabulary card. A little applique there. Made this little fold out, little tuck here. Belly band, just like Sweetheart Always. I just really thought that was cute. Little area for writing and just a little botanical there, little poem, and this original photograph of this couple, and just a little piece of cute ephemera that I thought went with it. Collaged some papers here, digital, magazine. Here's 2 areas to tuck in this pocket, and I just love the way that looks with the lace over that piece of, it's like a pink muslin material, cotton material. This is a very old receipt. I just love the writing. Isn't that pretty? So I just tucked that in there. I love giving some of the original as well as some digital ones or copied, but I think it's fun to have some originals. This is probably the second of the slim journals I've ever done. There's some collaging, gesso, areas to write. Here is an old envelope from 1904, and it was falling apart. I did do some gesso, did some collaging on it to hold it together, used a digital in the background, and some pretty lace. Here's just a vintage button card here, and this is a receipt from 1951, or a check, I should say. And here's the other side with another vintage button card with the buttons on them, the lace, and a piece of old doily there, old tablecloth. Where did my other clip go? I think I'm missing a clip. This will have another clip probably with a dangle. And there's just a couple of pages decorated here. Remember the moments. This is from an 1800s French document. And hear that? That is such nice paper, and it's just beautiful writing. And you got a piece of that. Area for notes and stuff here from an old book again. Just a flip up, some scrap pieces of paper here. An old glassine envelope. Move that up. And just an old photograph. I loved her hat. And an old letter, and I believe that is, I think it's English. I don't know, it's pretty bad and I can't even tell. Anyway, you get lots of it in this one. No, it might be German. I mean, it might be French. So let's see, little dangle of a book charm there. This is a vintage piece of a sampler's lace, and it's from France. A book page there. A very old piece of onion skin. And I just love the feel. Little gesso at the top. It's still smudged. You can see the watermark in it. Very nice. More paper to write. You'll probably have to put something hard behind it. Here's an old photograph and just a tag that I made and tucked in some tickets. Collaged here, and this is one of my favorite old laces. It's a vintage lace, and it's just so delicate and pretty. And I thought that looked good together. More collaging, a receipt here from the 1800s. Another tag. Here's just a doily that I've made into a pocket. And I have included this little stick pin I made in this very old blue. You can still see where the wax seal was. This is from 1865, and it's a French receipt. Isn't that beautiful? It still has a little bit of the dark vintage. I'll tuck that in better, but I think even down to the postage, it's just lovely. 2 pages here ripped and torn in areas. And here's just a dress that is a digital. I cut it out. Yes, fussy cut it. And you know, it's not one of my favorite things. Many of you know. And I just burnt the edges and put some holes in it. I added these little pieces of sparkle flowers to the dress. I also included another brief note. It could be just the cover. The paper is just beautiful. I love the feel of it, the texture of it. Yeah, it's a little note from 1851. Again, I just love to include some original pieces like that. Made this little flip up here. Added some French book page here and here. Made a pocket. Here's some little pieces, some embossed paper here. Put this little metal thing as well. Made a little flip here for a word or two. A little tuck in here with an original picture. Here's another little tuck with an embossed piece here. This is an advertisement that I got from a book from the 1800s. And a little glassine bag that I have folded over and pinned. This has some broken up pieces of rose petal, dried rose petal. Little rose charm to go with that. Little lace in the middle. Even book cloth and muslin. This is from 1888. I love how you can see the seal. And this is a little receipt, a little French receipt. The paper is got a little graph looking on it. But that slips in there. A little piece of a music page. It is German. And it's pretty cool. Another little rusted clip with some charms on there. Little tuck here with a vintage cigarette card. Little applique here with some more. Here's a little charm of an envelope. Piece of lace that I used as a flip. That tucks in. It says journal with a little pocket I've made. And this is and I don't have this anymore. It's part of a box of ledger stuff that unfortunately was thrown out. And this is from 1902. And here, I'll just slip this off for now. Just a piece of sari. And there's a pocket here with a vintage receipt. And then you can open it up for writing. Here is a vintage photo postcard. And another pocket on this side with a little post office money order slip. Vintage, of course. And I am going to put that back together afterwards. Some collaging, another piece of that. This is the back. Still a little puffy, lots of collaging, some sewing there. And I made a pocket out of this little stretch lace. Let me move it up a little. There we go. And just, this was a digital. And there's a little vintage postcard in there. And I just put some glass hearts at the end. So it felt good to actually finish something since I've been, a little MIA lately. And I just love how it turned out, and I hope you do too. This I will, at the time of the video posting, will be available in my Etsy shop. I am going to finish another journal, but I'm also going to make some small ones. I'll be back at my art journal soon. I just wanted this to be complete, just so my Etsy shop doesn't stay empty for, you know, again, for months like it has been. So thank you guys for all your nice comments and for watching, and you have a great day. Bye.